Play ball, sports fans. Welcome into a new episode of the Leaderboard here on WTOL 11+. I'm Noelle Blumel.
And I'm Tyler Segerman. From the gridiron to the pitch and even the hardwood, we are covering a wide range of action this week, not to mention a special sit-down I did with a few of our top local volleyball coaches.
And as a huge volleyball fan myself, Tyler, I cannot wait to hear what they all had to say. Get ready to meet our newest athlete of the week, a key difference maker on the soccer field, and an all-access look at a historic gym in our area. We're talking the Ben Williams Fieldhouse.
We mix Friday night lights with a military flyover and one special moment for a BGSU legacy athlete, plus our parent shout-out of the week, leaderboard poll, and a whole lot more. Let's dive in.
When you think of elite high school soccer in Ohio, Perrysburg is always in the conversation. Currently ranked #1 in the state, and senior Emma Ogdahl has been at the heart of their success. Now a senior, she's hoping to finish her high school career and her coaches on top. From the moment Emma Ogdahl stepped on the field at Perrysburg, she's been a difference maker.
She can hit with both right and left foot. He can take on anybody at any given time, and she can turn it on. I think that's the most impressive thing that she has.
Scoring goals? She does that, but it's her willingness to share the spotlight that stands out.
Sometimes you want her to just be a little bit more selfish and score, but she has been a great team leader and distribute.
That level of play didn't come easy. For years, Ogdahl has spent time traveling to Cleveland, chasing top-tier competition like many athletes at the club level.
And the fact that, her family, is 100% with her, taking her to practices and bringing her back, I think that shows a lot of commitment.
And those rewards are adding up. Ogdahl recently committed to play Division I soccer at Akron.
I'm very excited to go on to the next level, and I'm lucky enough to get another 4 years of playing in because it is truly what I love to do. And a lot of people forget that as they go along, but I've just made it very important to me to remember that.
Just last night, the Yellow Jackets knocked off Walsh Jesuit, the very team that ended their state run last year. Ogdahl scored one of the 2 goals in the 2-1 win, keeping Perrysburg undefeated and moving further towards the main goal.
I want to leave this year knowing that we've done everything we've could to be the best program possible, and I want to maximize our potential.
For Ogdahl, it's about legacy for herself, her team, and the coach who believed in her from the start.
Having Jorge as my coach for my last year at high school just completes the full circle because he was my coach when I was really younger back at GTFC, and now he's my coach when I'm a senior in high school. I think I just really want to get that out of my last year of high school too, and I just want to look back and remember it as a good thing and not like I'm super ready to leave or anything, because right now I'm not. Right now I'm very content with how our team is and where we're at, and I just want to keep it rolling.
Awesome to see that. Great story, Noelle. And last week, the 180th Fighter Wing conducted 7 flyovers in the span of 15 minutes. Now, those 7 high schools were not picked at random. Each of them is designated with a Purple Star label, which means they offer student assistance for military families. So with Friday marking Military Appreciation Night, everyone came together for what would be the biggest high school flyover event ever in Northwest Ohio. And it would turn out to be a huge success. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at how it all came together. When it comes to Friday night lights, the sights and the sounds are customary. September 12th plans to add a whole new jolt of passion.
I think it's personal for them to have 4 F-16s fly over, national anthems playing. It's Military Appreciation Night, so the pride in America, the pride in the military, and bringing it all together.
From 6:40 p.m. to 6:55 p.m., the 180th Fighter Wing will be conducting 7 flyovers across Northwest Ohio, beginning with an east-to-west pass over the Liberty Center Swanton game, then continuing through to Perrysburg Springfield, up south to north over Napoleon Clay, before making a turn and heading south through Sylvania, Maumee, and lastly, White House.
We've already spent for the last couple of days building the route, trying to find the timing, and then coordinating with the bands and the band directors to help work the national anthem, so we hit the flyover right at the end. So it's taken a lot of work, but definitely worth it.
This unprecedented spectacle is made possible thanks to the Ohio Board of Education Purple Star program, a service designed to help military students.
It's going to be amazing to have that many schools taking time at the same time, right, to be able to say, hey, we know, we recognize you, we see you, and we're here to support you.
Christine Young helped shape this vision, contacting these 7 Purple Star schools, further strengthening the relationship between the 180th and its supporters.
I just want everyone to know that it's just as much fun for us to do these flyers as hopefully the people on the ground. It's a really cool opportunity.
For Colonel Volts, he'll be one of the pilots passing by in the sky, with his son's game marking the final stop.
Showing up to the field and then being able to just watch him play that night is that'll be about the time that I get to kind of decompress and go, yeah, it was awesome to be able to do this.
Tech Sergeant Graciani won a state championship with Central Catholic in 2005. So combining the thrill of the gridiron with patriotic pride makes for a powerful Friday night.
It's not just about football, it's about the communities that are involved, it's about the students, and it's just another way for us again to say, thanks for always being there for us.
And it turned out to be a huge success. I got to see it myself at the Springfield game. Very cool to see the formation, the excitement from the crowd. And I know, Noelle, you actually were driving during the flyovers, but obviously very cool to be a part of and hear about, right?
It's probably best that I didn't see it myself in person, because every time and any time there is a flyover, specifically at a football game, I start crying, and it just makes me so emotional just to be in that moment. It's just an incredible thing, especially the symbolism of, the pride in our country and everything, especially at this point in time. It's really amazing to see, and for them to do it at the high school level, like they said, means so much to the kids. I was talking with head coach Derek Pennington at Clay before it happened, and he said all the kids are so excited. They run out with the American flag before just about every home game. So really cool for them at the high school level to be able to experience that.
Absolutely. And the cool thing too, so I was at Springfield, like I mentioned, I saw the Jets 3 different times because of everything going on in Northwest Ohio. So they did like 3 different flyovers because they were obviously going to high schools that were nearby. So it was cool to see them at different moments in different spots in the air because they were just going in a circle basically throughout Toledo. So it was really cool. And obviously to see, one of the pilots have his son be at Anthony Wayne, his son suited up, ready to get going for a football game, and see his dad fly over as well. I mean, just how you can't beat it. I mean, that is just super special. And obviously doing it for Military Appreciation Night, just hopefully they do it again. I hope this is something that they can do next year as well.
And you got to see all 3, you said? Or how many?
Well, there were 7 total. I saw them passed by probably 3 different times because they were going
How's
to
your
different.
hearing doing? Is your hearing okay?
It wasn't as loud as I thought it would be. I think it was the formation or maybe just how high they were. It wasn't as loud as I thought it would be. They could definitely go faster and put all of the throttle a little bit more, but it was still super cool. Obviously, the reason they did it and obviously the symbolism that went into it made for a very special night for sure.
Very cool.
Have a special moment like that tonight, get the big homecoming win in front of him is huge. One of the best moments of my life.
From watching his dad make highlight reel plays as a Falcon to making one himself, learn about the BG legacy, making a mark of his own, next on the Leaderboard. This past weekend marked homecoming for Bowling Green State University, and the Falcons sure made it memorable in more ways than one. Chase Bachman tells us how Freddie Falcon's 75th anniversary celebration turned into a big upset victory on the field.
Eddie George said last week when they lost at Cincinnati, he didn't like how his team wasn't generating enough turnovers. Well, today they did that and then some. 4 turnovers in this game, 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. They take those extra possessions and turn them into points. And so BG gets the upset win over Liberty, 23-13 the final. They're now 2-1 on the season.
Man, what an environment. Homecoming was amazing. The crowd was awesome. Our fans were excited. Gutsy win. Gutsy win. It's hard to win in this league. It's hard to win in football. Liberty came in with, their pedigree strong. Great team win. Great complimentary team win. Never going to balk at that, but we clearly have some work to do before we jump into MAC play.
The Falcons go back on the road next week when they play at Louisville. But until then, reporting from Bowling Green, Chase Bachman, WTOL 11. Noelle.
Thanks, Chase. Sticking with the orange and brown, you may remember when we talked to Falcons Hall of Famer Josh Harris. He spoke about his playing career and how it shaped him. Well, he also touched on his son Jacob, who is a sophomore tight end at BG. Take a listen.
I can't wait to see him really step into his own role where, and it's happening, right? But eventually he won't be, Josh Harris's son. He'll be his own thing. And he's already that to us, but everybody else has to learn, right? Eventually I'll be Jacob's dad. Right. And that's the thing. So it's a great opportunity for our family. It's closer to home, so we can get to damn near every game.
Well, as fortune would have it, Josh evidently still has an impact when it comes to play at the Doyd. What do I mean? Well, look at this play. First half winding down. Here is Harris, Jacob, the son, hauling in his first career touchdown, a pivotal play that put BG up double digits. And the best part, his family was sitting right there in that corner of the end zone. Here's what Jacob had to say after that moment and after the game.
Honestly, I mean, growing up on the old NCAA games, I'm recreating that old team. We'll pop the DVDs in and be watching the games, and I didn't really realize how big of a deal the stuff that was going on back then was until I got older and I got here. And you could really just get the full picture and how, special some of the stuff that they were doing was. So to be able to, have a special moment like that tonight, get the big homecoming win in front of him is huge. One of the best moments of my life.
I mean, I'm still getting chills for him. I mean, can you imagine stepping on that campus, knowing who your dad is, and trying to create your own persona and obviously roll on that team, and then obviously to do that on homecoming and an upset victory? I mean, how special is that? It's
just amazing to see, especially the family bloodline running deep in BGSU. Obviously, head coach Eddie George having his son on the team as well, Eric defensive end, just the family ties that program has brought. For him to be able to do that, Urban Meyer was in attendance on their season opener just a couple weeks ago, and to not have it at that moment, but then to have it at homecoming and be able to run to your family in the end zone, it just all proved to be worth it for him, and that's awesome. And the catch itself, jumping, rotating, and diving, what a first touchdown he got.
Yeah, they say the body control was definitely on display. The hands, as you mentioned, coming down to the ground and hauling that in, just super special. I love how we chalked to Josh days before him talking about his son, and then sure enough, he ends up catching his first touchdown pass of his career. I mean, not to say that we planned that, but it was great timing for sure.
It was meant to be. Well, week 4 did not go their way, but the head coach says his team is built to respond. Hear how Sam Arredondo is keeping his guys focused and who he's counting on to step up at Springfield on this week's Chasing the Game.
You guys are coming off the week 4, right, against Perrysburg. You guys, not the result you wanted. Definitely not the game you guys wanted with the injury to Gabe Gregory, your guys' running back, who has been terrific for you guys so far this season. Any sort of update with him? How's he doing? How's the team doing?
Yeah, I got some texts over the weekend about him. He's in good spirits, considering. Same with the boys. They've been reaching out. I know they've been in contact with the family, trying to help out, get his living situation organized so he can, navigate his home and everything. So he's in good spirits. I'm not exactly sure on a timeline or anything like that, but it seems all good considering the fact of everything that happened this weekend.
Yeah, I know. Tyler Segerman, our sports guy who was at the game, saw that injury and he said it was not, did not look good initially. They had to obviously bring out the stretcher, the ambulance. And whenever you see that in a high school football game, it's not good. And so to hear that, that he's in good spirits, that's good. Prayers to him. Hopefully, he can make it back for more football. He's only a junior, so he's got a senior year still to look forward to. But it was definitely a scary thing. So hopefully he can get back as soon as possible. What does he mean to this team? Just spiritually, emotionally, mentally. What does he mean to this team? Not just as a running back.
Yeah, Gabe is definitely one of our leaders. Maybe more from the energy standpoint, and like you say, you get in the spirituality standpoint of just the spirit of the team. He is always high energy. He's always ready to go, very confident, and I think that obviously is contagious. If he's feeling good and he's feeling like he can do whatever we ask him to do, I think his teammates feel that, and they have that same confidence. So I am excited to see who will step up and kind of fill that role for us moving forward. I know he wants to be around, and will try to do that the best he can, while he's in the recovery phase, but he means a lot to our team. It is definitely hard to put it into words.
Yeah. Do you guys have an idea of, who's going to step up, or maybe it's a group of people, maybe it's running back by committee, who's maybe going to fill his shoes in the meantime?
Yeah, position-wise, it's definitely going to be running back by committee. I've always told the kids since we started, it's going to be a competition every week. You know, some teams might say that, but like we mean it. You know, we don't want anybody getting comfortable. We call it productive discomfort. You know, that is what's going to make them better. So as far as who steps up and kind of fills that energy leader role, I think it'll be another group effort. We've been blessed with this senior class, and as far as what they're able to bring to the table, their maturity, they're kind of hungry to be successful. And we got a great group of guys that are, I think, going to step up and take on that energy leader role.
Catch Chasing the Game on WTOL 11 Plus, YouTube, and Spotify.
This is a historic place. A lot of great games have taken place here.
It's more than a gym, it's a piece of Toledo history. We're taking you inside Scott High School's Ben E. Williams Fieldhouse, where championships were won, legends were made, and the spirit of a community still echoes today. That's next.
Behind me is more than a school gym. It's a legend. This is the Ben E. Williams Fieldhouse at Scott High School. This week in our Meet the Field series, we're stepping inside with those who've lived its history. Dan Cummins has the story.
We've had some tremendous players to come through here to grace this field house over the years. And there's no secret why it's titled the Ben E. Williams Fieldhouse, because not only did Coach Williams win games, he changed lives. And it all happened here in this gym right here.
Scott High School's Fieldhouse, built in 1955 and now named after legendary coach Ben Williams, has long been the beating heart of local basketball. From state championship runs to packed Friday nights, the court has seen both glory and community spirit. Principal Dr. Carnell Smith says the Fieldhouse isn't just about basketball, it's about identity.
This is a historic place. A lot of great games have taken place here. I've witnessed a lot of great games here over the years. I've played in big games here where it was sellout, standing room packed, crowd only. I mean, this is our place where we come to cheer our team on to victory, and where we have our pep assemblies, we have our homecoming dance, homecoming coordination. It's just so much, this place just holds so much history.
In 1990, under Coach Williams, the Bulldogs won the Ohio Division I state championship, finishing 27-1. In his 24 years, Williams amassed 429 wins and brought home 11 City League and 9 district titles, cementing Scott as a powerhouse. Scott alum and athletic director Wakiso Peterson has worked to keep that spirit alive.
It's just one of those places, this place, where it means a lot to me. It shows that I have pride, and I wanted to, I did several different things.
From DJs at games to restored murals of Bulldogs past, Peterson says every detail is about making Scott's game nights feel bigger than high school basketball.
I always constantly try to update, try to bring a good experience to the fan as far as visual and the audio. We have DJs at our girls and boys basketball games. It's just one of those experiences. We want to make it feel like you're going to a college or professional event.
But beyond the basketball, the field house itself holds surprises, from carved gargoyles meant to protect the building to hidden passageways and an auxiliary gym. Its architecture tells its own story. And for Peterson, it's more than just trophies or titles.
I was one of those ones who played on the floor before I got here, and it made me want to come play here before I got here. So it's just one of those things I had instilled into me when I was a youth. And then when I got here, it was like, it's on, coming out of the tunnel, having the fans cheering. It was just an experience that you'll never forget. And then I want to give that same experience to the students that's here now. So I take pride in making sure that they have a product that's worthy.
From championships to hidden history, the Ben Williams Fieldhouse is more than a gym. It's a living time capsule of Bulldog pride.
Go Bulldogs.
There's no place like home. Once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog.
Well, do you think your school has a facility worth sharing? Text us your ideas at 419-248-1100 or email sports@WTOL.com for a chance to be our next featured stadium. Tyler, I was just talking with you about it. Going into Scott's gym for the first time ever, being able to cover a game, I was like, this is a high school facility. This is one of the nicest high school facilities. You can tell the history and the architecture. I'm so glad that was a point that was focused on, because it's beautiful. I biased because I love brick buildings. Just seeing the red brick and the history that goes behind it just makes it all the more a great atmosphere to be a part of.
Yeah, obviously City League champion or City League tournaments are held there, I think, and especially in recent years, but I think that's kind of an annual thing now because of the history behind it. And I love the seating. It's the old style wood bleachers. They haven't changed that at all, which I love. And you mentioned the architecture. It literally connects to the high school. And the high school itself, I mean, that could be its own story, just how many, and they talked about all the pathways and obviously all the different levels. I mean, it's like a 3 or 4 story high school. It's just super, super special. Just every time you walk in, you feel kind of that aura surrounding, surrounding you when you walk into that gymnasium because of the history that comes with it.
Yeah, don't want to get too ahead of myself because we're still in football season, but looking forward to covering more games there this basketball season.
Absolutely. Well, this week I had the opportunity to host our second ever Coaches Roundtable, where we get 4 of the best area minds to discuss various topics. While high school volleyball stood at the forefront this time, and while we discussed many topics, none proved more fun than these 2 questions. Take a listen.
I feel like that's probably more of the men's game in me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's either, overpass kill. That's my favorite.
Okay. What about you, Amy?
Oh, roof block.
Yeah.
Hands down. Hands down.
I like the celebrations on those too.
Yeah.
Those are always great.
Yes.
That's awesome. And Lori?
My initial is definitely a block, but there's nothing like a dig. I mean, there's nothing like a dig that is just out of this world from someone that had an overpass that they took it and just hung it right up there. So
absolutely. And then Chrissy, what's your favorite?
Black roof that hitter all day. Yeah.
All right, here's a fun one. So what drill and practice do your players love the most? Do they have a favorite drill that you like to run?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I can say the word.
Oh.
So they love butt ball, is what we call it.
Okay.
So it's like 3 on 3.
Yeah.
So instead of playing the ball over, they play it under.
Okay.
And they literally turn around, they try to block the ball with their backs, and it's like a simple, easy drill that they love to play. Or we have a drill called Crazy Irish, where we have 2 balls going at the same time, and both balls can't drop at the same time. If one drops, you can go restart it, and it gets crazy. We have kids chucking balls down hallways and everything.
Okay.
One of those 2.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for the explanation as well. What about you, Amy?
I think our kids like short court queens the best because you have to be quick. And as soon as that ball's dead, the next one's served. So they like it. They have fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lori?
probably like a Hawaii, or we have a serve-receive drill we do to start every practice, and we split the teams up as evenly as we can, but it's different every practice, and they just like to compete. I mean, it gets intense some days, and as a coach, you just love it. You love to see that intensity, and they have to shake hands when they're done, and so yeah, those two probably.
Yeah, ours is simple. They love playing queens, and we very rarely play it. It's just 3-on-3 back row, but we usually focus on more skilled drill work. And if we ever bring out queens, then it's a big cheer, and they're loving it. So just real basic competitive, like Lori said, they just like to compete.
Well, I appreciate all four of those coaches taking time to speak with me. 3 of them were at state last year. Lake, who wasn't, still, they're 5-time defending NBC champions. So a lot of expertise and a lot of perspective there on that panel. You can find the whole thing on our WTOL 11 Plus platform, so be sure to check that out. And coming up next, stay tuned because we have our WTOL 11 Leaderboard Poll of the Week as well as our parent shout out. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, that brings us to our WTOL 11 Leaderboard Poll of the Week.
Last week, we asked you, where is your favorite spot to watch a football game?
Your options were at the bar, at the stadium, at a house with friends, or alone on your couch.
And the results are in, and the winner was alone on your couch. We have a lot of loners like myself, with more than 41% of the votes. Second place was at a house with friends. Third place was at the stadium, and watching at the bar came in last.
That's a little surprise to me.
It is a surprise to you?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people like to, obviously being alone at your couch is the most convenient option here. But, when you want to be social, I feel like going to a bar would be your first choice.
Yeah, but then again, you can't be loud in a bar, especially if you got a fantasy lineup, you're going against a friend. You can't really yell and express your frustration as freely as you would in your house. I'm not speaking for, I'm not speaking from experience or anything.
I was going to say, when I go to a bar, I'm always loud. I'm always cheering, so I don't know. But I mean, Jamie, our producer, made a good point. You can't change the channel. So if there's a game on, you either have to tell the bartender or the waitress, hey, I want this game changed, and then everyone else is mad at you because they were watching that game.
They have multiple TVs, though.
Well, it depends on where you go, too. So you just got to pick a bar or a place where you have multiple views and multiple games on. So
I'm surprised alone on your couch, though. I would at least. It's nice to be with friends. If you're
I say we did have an option where you could be at home with other people, because when you want to watch a game, unless you're dialed into it and have a personal say in who you want to win. Cause sometimes if I'm super invested, I don't want anyone else seeing my emotions come out. But if you're just casually watching a game, you want to be with people, you want to have dip, you want to have food and drinks, it's a social event.
Maybe regular season. Maybe when they get into postseason, it gets
They just go to their cave and just sit by themselves.
Come out of the woodworks in the postseason in Super Bowl.
That's fair. All right. Well, speaking of football, we're sticking with game day, but the question now shifts to wardrobe. Here's the question. What is your game day outfit? Your options are dressed in team gear from head to toe, just wearing a jersey, repping team colors, but keeping it casual, or simply just sporting whatever you have on.
To vote, simply scan the QR code on your screen right now or head to WTOL11.com and head to the sports section. As always, we'll be back here next week to break down the results. And that'll bring us to this week's Parent Shout Out of the Week.
That's right. This week's athlete is a fighter in more ways than one. Here is 11-year-old Harper. Harper comes to us from Lambertville at just 11 years old. She is already a standout in 2 different sports, competing in both travel softball and travel wrestling. This year, she wrestled her way to 4th place individually at the Michigan State Tournament, all while helping her all-girls Monroe County team capture the state championship.
And it's not just on the mat or the field where Harper shines. She kept a perfect report card with all A's the past 2 years, all while traveling most weekends to compete. Harper's drive, balance, and passion make her a true leaderboard star. So congrats to you, Harper. I remember those days being an athlete and balancing the student life. It's not easy, but it definitely sets you up for success. Teaches you those time management skills early on. So good for Harper.
What do you think wrestling and softball? What do you think is the kind of the chemistry? Not chemistry, but what's the one connection you feel like she could probably use for both?
Just being a fierce competitor. I think, softball, you go up to the plate, you're alone, you're in the zone. It's just you versus that pitcher in the moment. Wrestling, it's you and your opponent on the other side. I think it's a team sport. You have the support behind you, but certain moments in the game, key moments in the game, you got to go up and fend for yourself. So I think that's, teaching being clutch under pressure as well.
Yeah, and to be that successful at a young age as well, just setting herself up for a great career if she decides to stick with softball and wrestling. So congratulations again, Harper. Best of luck the rest of the way. Well, do you have a young athlete in your life? We want you to show them off. Send us your best photos and videos. Your submissions could be featured in WTOL 11 sports specials and across our social media platforms.
All you do is text us your highlights and be sure to include your name, your star's name, and hometown. That number is 419-248-1100, or you can email us at sports@WTOL.com.
Well, that's going to do it for another episode of the Leaderboard here on WTOL 11 Plus. I'm Tyler Segerman.
And I'm Noelle Blumel, and from our entire WTOL 11 Leaderboard team, we'll see you next game.